Got some Tibetan bowls. So that's what's going on there. Okay, welcome to another Shaligram episode. This one is pretty exciting. I was just looking at this Shaligram. Oh, the things that I hope to be able to convey. So let's get going. Guess I should be over here. So here's some images just to give an idea. So one thing is between the interior nucleus, as I call it, but here's a chakra, and then a nucleus happens between it. That's like a mini ammonite embedded within a larger structure. Sorry guys, I'm immediately starting because like I'll just assume no one's gonna be here. Start a stream. Boom, I'm going. I'm just fucking going. Oh, damn. I guess I'll give it a second. Nice little birds in here too with bowls. Birds and bowls. I like bowls. Tibetan bowls. Tibetan bowls. Other bowls. Soup bowls. Soup bowls are really good. Soup. Soup is so good. Okay. So, this Shaligram is so cool. So it's got the interior ammonite, that too may be a fossil trained eye, modern paradigm trained eye. It's just like an ammonite going on. That's pretty interesting in appearance, but it's just an ammonite. And any peculiarities are just coincidence and a hand wave, and we're good here. But the things on this stone are so cool. And what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? Like a sneak peek. That's the word. Sneak peek. But we're gonna check it out today. We're gonna check it out. It's so much darker than it looks. It's pretty much as black as all the other Shaligrams I have in or that are kind enough to have allowed me to be in their presence. Let's say. So it's worth looking at here because this camera is super focused. And I'm not sure how good I can get the details all in one image, given how dark it looks. I don't know. I'm really far away. Oh, shove it into there. Sorry, Shaligram. I'll take care of you. I'm the worst. Okay, I do have a light. Oh, it's like black over there too. So before I do that, I just kind of give it a little bit more time before I get really talking. I assume no one's gonna be here, so I'll just treat it as if I'm recording. So welcome, future and possible present. That doesn't seem to be. Welcome to another episode of the Shaligram Zone, episode 23. They're kind of slowly accumulating since I started doing these. I also have an entire playlist called Shaligrams of way more than that. 23. Way more than 23. But these are more so the ones, although recently I've not, the ones with this microscope. At least that's how it started, and now I've just kind of made it all Shaligram episodes are streamed, and I pretty much just do it like that now and keep them out of the underground science episodes because they're so specific, and underground science is more about the Earth as a whole, in spite of their relationships there too, so it's like highly embedded in those videos as like integral to and part and parcel. It's just as the spiraled out, it started to create more chambered, like segmented blocks that led to Shaligram Zone. So here we are in the Shaligram Zone, looking at this one, and what caught my attention. Honestly, I was thinking what did catch my attention about this one to the point that it's sitting here where many catch my attention, but not many sit here. One of the things was this, which has, I noticed, little pores along the way, as basically like the top of the chakra structure. So like this mass up here is cut away in part back here. It's like cutting entirely to segment it away entirely, but it didn't do that for some reason. The process did it here only, and then adjacent to where it basically stopped or started is this like path over here that there's so many cool details now that I looked at it a little closer. I looked at it for like 10 minutes and then I was like, oh my god. Maybe 20 minutes, I don't know, but enough to see things that I'm like, oh, I need to talk about this right now. So, one thing for sure I found of interest. It's funny, this like looks like a microphone, but the microphone is hidden back here. One thing for sure I found of interest was this thing. where the ammonite ribs, which maybe like these things. Are being eroded just those two spots. Even though the teeth back here, as I call them, the boundary between. So what is happening in reality is that a water current that passed through this region had the specific circumstances necessary of high pressure, high flow rate, high resistance, high probably temperature. I don't know, maybe like a wide range of temperatures at play. Temperature I haven't really thought about that much. But water, black shale, quartz, pyrite, clay type materials, like a red clay type material, are all typical. More so, the first ones, red ones, are like their own category almost. But the black shale ones, like this one, are formed by basically, this is interesting, that this thought comes up, by an eddy current. No fossil is in the stone. An eddy current of water under high pressure and high flow rate. Like high flow rate, but also high resistance, so it's caused to eddy and basically find ways to cut through boundaries by eddying as current flows into an inlet in any location. It then will fill the space until it has nowhere to go and like flows upward. But then if like the flow keeps going in, it will naturally form an eddy, which will then like put force and basically look for, instead of just sitting there, like flows in and it just like sits, flows in, just sits. It actually forms an eddy, and that gives like an actual force as it moves around to basically look for an outlet. And it's just systematically currents do things of that nature, including forming more like structurally fractal, iterative, fundamental structures that are atomic, galactic, and captured in shaligrams. So this has like atomic, galactic processes at play. What exactly is going on is like a puzzle to be uncovered, but that it's like that is clear. So, that is my stance. That is where I'm coming from. As if you're watching this, you are well aware, probably. So, pardon me. I assume people watching it are somehow watching like this episode the first time. Anyway, I don't want to get distracted. Okay. So this feature, we've got this with a gap leading to the ribs, and then over here, there's no ribs. There's no ribs over here, only there, but then the ribs actually connect across, interestingly. Like the shale connects across here, even though this is supposedly the boundary of an ammonite. It just connects across here. We'll get into it. And then there's a structure down here that I found really peculiar, that in my interpretation, in and of itself, looks like an ammonite. Looks basically like a lobe to an ammonite structure, specifically in Shaligrams, that has its like chakra region over here with like a down chakra, like from here downward, that just didn't form dominantly. And like the Eddie was trying to find a balanced center of pressures, because what's happening is the current yeah, I play video games. I'm a mess. Oh, what have I been doing? I haven't thought. I wonder what's on there. Who knows what's on there? I should check what's on there. In case it's something embarrassing like a video game. It's okay. This color sucks. That's better. For Shaligrams, obviously. Essentially, I was thinking like it's maybe started in more of something like that, that then actually still had a general chakra in this region. It's just like up here was not eroded yet, perhaps, but like an eddy was happening lower that maybe like essentially found a balance point up higher, and specifically having a larger eddy structure, but where it like weirdly retains this like break, where like the eddy structure across here is actually more related to this portion than down here. It seems when I look at it to have some kind of characteristic of that nature at play, like when we watch it in the video here. Like it literally looks like that's a good angle to see it right there. Get a little more in there. Like this. With the chakra up, but like there. And then another like bottom segment down here that's related to this block. It's hard to explain. It just isn't like in every Shaligram. It's not like this in every ammonite. So it's peculiar. Like they're a lot more like this, say. I mean, no Shaligrams are really the same. But like that's not happening here, where it has that like distinct, although it has layers, but it's not like creating what appears like almost another ammonite below it, which is a Shaligram I recently saw That was the one. That one looks a lot like it. Yeah, that's because it is it. They're more like this. They typically have just like a single unit that's more coherent. This thing is not so coherently a single unit. This is more a single unit. There's no question, like it's a single unit kind of thing going on. Here, it actually has layers. But those layers are part of like what's going on here, of course. I'm just giving some pre-info before we dive into looking at the stone. So we've got the layer there. In terms of what grabbed my attention so far. We've got this one here. But then we've got another one behind it that's kind of goes to here. So it's a chamber. Like it's part of an ammonite structure. So the point is, this reveals things about how ammonites form that other shaligrams don't, at least as easily, unless like it's appreciated from somewhere else, like this one, or some other Shaligram, though. Or just some other source, like someone informing. And then there's another one that goes here. And we really see the suture pattern there, and then I can't really tell what's going on there. Maybe something like that. So then another chamber. And then there's like real subtle one as well. Let's draw it in blue, kind of somewhere up there. And then we approach. Maybe there's more even. Definitely at least one. I probably didn't draw it. I think it's more like here even. Like there. Something. It's certainly trying to form chambers, and it specifically is doing it beyond this. Well, so like let's say like this dividing path here, which will probably matter in some regard. In this region, everything to this side is especially eroding here and doing it in shapes that are of interest. And then everything to this side is eroding. My point is eroding out this way, where this stuff is eroding in this way, like towards the nucleus. This one's related to the nucleus. All these are related to the outer shell of the structure. In terms of where the currents are flowing to or from, depending on the circumstances of this process. And then we've got some other current flows going on back here. And then let's just keep differentiating a bit. We've got this boundary here, which is very common to have like out of like this point another lobe to form, basically this shape, but larger, out of like that, to grow the chakra down, basically another chakra level down, if the circumstances are there to grow a larger chakra. It can do that. Okay, let's just keep going. But then, yeah, so that current flow out of that point seems to have instead just kind of gone back this way. Instead of like forming another, like going this way and forming a lobe to then have a larger ammonite. Notice there's no material to do that. Like actual rock material, matrix material that is being molded and shaped to be an ammonite and to be a shaligram. Everything about it is being molded and shaped by the currents. But because it doesn't have that structure, it actually isn't able to. Not always, but in this circumstance it seems to have just gone this way. Instead of going around like another tier of the ammonite lobe, wrapping around so it doesn't go that way. At least not enough to matter, and there's not enough material, so we have that. But that's not all. We also have, let's say, I don't know, yellow. These lines going across, like here, and then across there. And then over here, they're going more this way. Something like different in the direction is the point. Over here, they're going a different way. Something else is going on, etc. And so that's at play. And then the opposing face is really interesting because where's the ammonite? Right? If this is an ammonite, if this is an ammonite, then where's the boundary right here? This is the boundary of the ammonite right here. Right? So that would make sense. Like here, let's look at it. Let's look at it in the camera real quick. Okay, I just have to get my bearings. Put this over here. Gotta kind of turn the light on. Pardon me if my fingers are. Oh yeah, that was on. It was on. Get it a little closer. Okay. Okay, so we've definitely got an ammonite boundary. I got a toothpick somewhere. Oh, there it is. So here's the ammonite. It's really hard to see, it's so dark. I mean, I could certainly get closer. Nucleus. Oh my god. Oh my. It's even layered. Of course, that's like how they are in some regard, but so the boundary here. Oops. This boundary goes across here. notice one anomaly. We've got the interior really clear as day. It has ribs. The ribs of the ammonite embedded. But then as we turn this, the teeth are very clear as well. Right along this area, where basically the current, like it's too, look how sloped it is. And then it eroded. In here, in here, in here. And then down that way. But like really flat in an anomalous way. Like the current that was going along these paths went off the stone into a downward flow, going basically from the top here. Flowing down and just applying a pressure on that current enough to physically force it along the head boundary of the stone that then etches along the paths, as well as possibly with like a relationship like sideways from like this ridge or this internal like low point outflows a current in downward, but also with a pressure of a current to the left, because there's an eddy. Even though there's a downward pressure, like into this image, there's a flow that's going down into the center generally, like as a balance point of the currents of the pressures down into the stone at the center, that then is eddying, but eddying into the actual materials, because mind you, like this is not even necessarily a stone yet. In many instances it's clearly fluid when it's forming. The particles themselves are in flow, in flux, and being shaped, and literally the stone is being formed, everything about it in these currents. And so the downward flow seems to be creating an eddy, in at least possibly related to the bottom one, a clockwise direction from here, that then when the flow hits the outflow from this eddy, basically current eddies to a center, but then it has nowhere to go, so it just goes physically around the eddy, where then it carves channels, and that then creates ribs around the eddy, that then create the actual teeth patterns along the boundary. So there's a flow that then also runs into exterior pressures that then literally flows back in. So they're both flowing in and out along these channels, frequently interacting and dividing and things, and definitely lots of cool stuff at play. But in this case, they flow out of the channel and into such a pressure that they just go down, but also over because of the eddy. So then they etch along the boundary here and just create this anomaly. Particularly this region. Okay. So there's that. Not the most exciting. Maybe we can look at the top. Because the more I looked at this, the more I was like, whoa. So this is the top. This portion is what is... I guess I should try to rest it. Okay. Let's check out these openings. It's like literally little grains. Things stuck that just didn't get eroded out big enough. They're just stuck in the currents, but then the surroundings got eroded out enough that they didn't, these bigger things just didn't have to be eroded in the circumstances of this particular Shaligram. Seems to be why I would do that. Like, we can really, let's see. I know we can look at this pretty close. Wow. Oh my god. Fossils. I lost track of where it was. Okay. Huh. Might be just too dark. Wow. I love the way it comes in like little atoms. Oh my god, that's so cool. It looks like a sea of little atoms. I know it's the focus, but like, yeah, because it's focusing on a different dimension, maybe? Little systems. Let's get an actual focus though. Again with that fiber, this one looking very gold pyrite type color. I still don't know what to make of those. Sometimes I'm like convinced they're in the stones. Sometimes I'm convinced they're fibers from some, or like dust. Something. Fiber dust. But that one looks very pyrite colored. Like gold. Anyway. Let's not get too distracted on close details. I should have zoomed out. Did I zoom out? Maybe I can capture the whole detail I'd like to show in one image. Let's find a good chakra. It's a good one, but it's a little. Oh. Okay. This one. Chakra up to a little tiny nucleus. Notice the curvature. Like a chakra. Tiered. I mean, it's a little like stepped over this way. It's got an appearance. Mind you, where is this? It's where that like connection is. So let's go back. There we go. Here. This kind of looks like a sideways chakra, and even like the way it's got like paths here. Just subtle, recessive, as I say, and yet like not that recessive because of the details that I found. It's really crazy, actually. So let's just hypothesize. Maybe it's like doing some chakra thing even atop the chakra. So here's the chakra that's pointing this way to the nucleus, through the nucleus, through the other chakra. So there's a chakra with a like pseudo like two-dimensional etching of a chakra on top of it in the position where it's like should be, let's say, essentially draining, like because it's cutting the surroundings to be an ammonite. Like it's taking all this to the left and around it and to the boundary over here, and it's just forming an ammonite and then dividing the ammonite along a boundary here from internally and externally, like flowing in along the boundary and flowing out along the boundary. To then erode, though, an ammonite by doing things of this nature to the like smooth stone. That's the typical thing. However, in this case, it seems that this, like, in so doing, in so draining down, like, it really behaved like a chakra itself, pointing out another chakra that kind of connects through here. So almost like the ammonite is like a nucleus between the chakra, above the chakra though, like the sideways off of it. Even though it's going down through the chakra here and then back through this way, it then runs into man, it really is hard to capture with this. I should take some pictures. I might have to take pictures and do a second episode on this one to really get a better view. But the point is this region where these like where these things one, two are kind of connecting from this mass, just continuing across, connecting to the other side of the ammonite, or of the matrix. So like, here's an ammonite boundary here. Ammonite is around here. Here's the ammonite boundary to the ammonite there. So this is just matrix. It's not part of the ammonite, like, distinctly over here on the top, but this is ammonite. So there's this divide that if we follow over, notice its shape already. It's flat, and then it's kind of getting a little bit of slope. It like ramps up, goes over, and slopes over, and then gets to like a peak, and then goes over to like a peak, and goes over, and then gets way more like peak-like. And where are we but there? So this side, the boundary of the ammonite, from here, flows around through here, kind of like unsure which way to go this way, cuts through here, and then gets more and more chakra-like if we just kind of turn it this way. until it reaches the chakra. So it kind of has a chakra here on top of this, on top of it, a chakra pointing across at another chakra that's like matrix to matrix. So there's an ammonite inside that has like chakras across it, but then a matrix to matrix connection, even though like the chakras are all matrix. In any shalogram, the chakra itself is composed of the surrounding matrix and is not the ammonite or considered part of the ammonite. It's a negative imprint of an ammonite. And so it's like mass above the chakra, and in any instance, like here, is going to be matrix, not ammonite. But it cuts across the matrix, connects to another chakra here. So if we go the other way, by the way, go this way, what does it do but have a chakra shape? That then cuts to these boundaries over here. And this one's really interesting, actually, because so if we follow it, let's follow it. Chakra starts here, but then it bows out to another tier, so like a tiered chakra. Let's open this chakra back up. So it starts off near like the nucleus here, so like the nucleus region would be in this area between, basically in here somewhere. And then the chakra is connecting across here and going up from a sharp, like really sharp, like a chakra. It's very sharp, going over in like pseudo tiers, but also ultimately to like more of a more defined tier here, where then it does interesting things. As chakras can do, they can go like, they can go a low energy, they can go medium, high energy paths, and do all of them, and do them in like different ways. So it can go just more like up and just across. So if we notice, across this way is this. Right here. Oops. Right here. It keeps going across this way. Some like interaction here, but across. Across. And then we see some like teeth like things going on there, just subtly etched. Maybe a little bit more to the left, but it kind of fades out. Whatever is going on there kind of fades out. Maybe we could see it a little further in just like the color and like the lack of striations across that, maybe, I don't know. But then we can take like the higher energy chakra and go further. So we, instead of just going to the left here, it goes up, and it does the same thing where it has two options. It can go a lower energy here, or it can basically go and become a huge chakra. Notice the tiers. So like starting from here, wrapping around from there, but wrapping around with a boundary here, where then it continues around and goes a more like middle ground energy across this way, and then a more like tiered chakra energy, but a very tall chakra energy along the backside here. And then that one has ribs going this way outside of it, like out of it. So whatever's going on here had current flows going generally this direction in relationship to them. Like not this way. Based on the ribs that are here that we can see. Across here, it's actually a rib. It's made it harder to see, honestly. Definitely see it. There. Okay, you can definitely see it. Okay. But then there's these ribs going that way, up here. That again are related to this. So if we go back here, to this image, so we've kind of got a chakra going like here. That then goes the other way, but then has another energy level. More so there-ish. That's more just like flat line almost. And another one that was over there somewhere. But like, this is, what is up with these? It's clearly eroded. But in a way that's like clearly the process is forming everything. Sorry if that's not clear to you. Pardon me. How dare I? Let's see. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Put that yellow thing. I was like, oh wait. It's not gonna help change the angles. Oh, those striations. Oh my god. Go in the... I can't do it. Go in this way. Like near the... Only above a certain point, but below a certain point. They're all going like up, down. Very odd. Almost as if current flows. I didn't even finish the sentence. Who cares? No one's listening. What do you want from me? Even if you're listening later, it's like, that could be years, dude. Years from the moment I'm recording this. I mean, it's not like my track record. It's like, wow. Clearly, people are listening now. No fucking decade of crickets with some cool people along the way. Cool people. I wanna like do that thing. I see many a circle jerk occur. Not like in literal sense, sorry. I'm not watching the fucking circle jerks. That's not what I meant. I did just say I kind of like Shooter McGavin. Shooter. Now I know how Shooter feels. Wow. That, like, the way it is. The way it is. That thing that I'm kind of centering on. We are quite zoomed in here. Looks almost like a missing fiber. Like actually having paths in the material in which these fiber things were present but are not there for some reason. That's how it looks. Might just be on it again. Let's see what scale we're working with here. It's hard to see with the toothpick. Like around there. It looks like there's an actually like a fiber opening. Weird. Let's see how close we can get. Oh yeah. Oh. Oh. It's embedded. It's embedded. Oh shit. Clearly embedded. This ain't no dust. This ain't no dust. Clearly embedded. Suck a D. It's dust. It's dust. You know that shit. How many times? That's so cool. It's just worth noting. I don't know what to say about it exactly. Like going across, maybe I should do this. This is cool. Up here, it's got like a dot. Center. It's probably good. I didn't mark that. Let's get a better color too. Not yellow. Fuchsia is pretty visible. But like the surrounding and the dot, that the double combo, kind of like an eddy, like a chakra. But this boundary is incredible. And this boundary that looks to have another type of fiber type kind of thing going on. This. I can't draw on my lap very well. And just like a channel. Just like chakra? Is this like doing a chakra thing? Maybe up this way. Like in there. Like something. Making like a lobe. Lobe. And then like chakras across with like a positive dense, like a negative void. But still, I don't know. I just see things, I guess. Oh, you guys can't even see what I'm doing very well. But I was saying fiber type thing there, fiber type thing there. Lobe over here, chakra that kind of takes steps down towards around here. That maybe goes across this way though. It's like a lobe, like kind of out that way. I don't know, just kind of a thought I was having when I saw this thing. I mean, what? Remember the scale though. This is a freaking tip of this thing. I could still see chakras. I don't think it's totally unreasonable like that angle, I guess. Like the bottom chakra even has a little slope type thing. Let's see, it's got the slope type thing that's here. I mean, like going this way. Kind of like the ribs of the chakra. And then up on this one, it's kind of got like a pointy, weirdish kind of region. And then it's got this fiber type thing. Almost. like some current flow related. That maybe that was a chakra. If there's some like pseudo, I mean, this looks kind of the chakra related here, right there, that region up here maybe. And then at that point, it's kind of looking like something hard to say. But then with that typical like central current flow on this side, where this side seems to have gone to the top side and around to the boundary and went around the boundary of like a lower chakra boundary then, because like a lower energy, if this is like a higher energy chakra maybe down here, then like this right here continuing across further, more like this. I know it may seem like what in the fuck, but dude, this looks really informative. I don't care that it's some speck on this pillar thing. And then below it looks like it might have chakra, so it's like layered. I don't know. That looks kind of chakra-like too at the center. Top and bottom a little bit, not so much the left and right though. Okay, let's zoom out. We're so zoomed in. Again, this here is this. Going that way. Let me see. Those are like crystal, like quartz crystals that are looking very like a large scale, kind of not so just grains, I guess. Looking more like a crystal, I guess. And then it becomes more typical, I guess. Over here, adjacent. Looking like some suture patterns going on in there. Notice it's just eroded. Little channels. Literally in the surface details of the stone. Let's zoom out again, that look cool. Like when it's like that, it really makes me think of molecules and atoms. like one of those images of gold atoms all interacting, or those are more in a line, I guess. Just like some larger intermediary between atoms and like Shaligrams or some other larger scale ammonites or planets or galaxies, like some intermediary that is not atoms, because it's not like these are individual atoms when it does this, but like are themselves like systems in a way that this reveals subtleties of. I don't know. I feel like there's a good chance something of that nature is at play. Okay, then notice here, here. I was looking at it, so Shaligrams frequently will erode the dendritic structures like this. Like these really distinct nubs, or whatever, like pillar things, feet, that then apply pressure. Like current, basically current goes around it, and it applies pressure, like to these regions, but current etches around it. And sometimes the current can flow in a eddy. It seems like that's a major aspect to me even making this, is that it's like generally flowing around it in some manner that's maybe like going through this way. Or like wrapping around and then out along the central region and then flowing up, down, or vice versa. And then flowing down and around, I was getting at though, like both ways, and then creating some pattern that essentially has several eddies all interacting on the surface of the stone here to then actually create these things while still like creating little smaller versions like there, where it just doesn't erode them because it doesn't need to. It erodes around them. So the point is, it does that. It erodes around them, but in this case, we see one kind of forming here, but they're actually pretty odd. So we can see it. One's forming here, and what do you know? It also has a chakra kind of shape to it in general, like a tier, an intermediary tier towards that there. But that one is kind of like unformed relatively. Like it's definitely happening. But this one above it seems a little more formed. Right here. Across this whole thing here. which is related really to this other chamber. So now we have this lower like chakra node type thing on one boundary of this like lower eddy ammonite thing. Like we were talking about, where it's got like a lower eddy to the like overall eddy that made the ammonite, a lower eddy that like is more related to this chamber specifically, that then has another eddy like atop it related more so to this chamber and another, etc. And those layer. But as it etches the stone, it also cuts holes in here in this case, but then it creates the these dendrites. So this one really shows the dendrites, I thought, pretty well in a revealing way. So we see a dendrite happening kind of up here, but it's like subtle. And then kind of here as well. But it's just not formed. Where this one seems just, it's got more of the process. And it's got a little underneath it. Like these don't show the separation as well. This one's clearly like beginning to separate. Let's check out this boundary. This is probably pretty interesting. How do I do this? Yes. Fauna. So it's definitely eroding between the overall structure. Creating this dendrite here. That then is like eroding maybe even different amounts in a way to like round it out, where this is quartz. 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 So like where it's flowing the most is quartz, 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 less pyrite. There's some pyrite in here. But notice the particle size is much smaller for those, where over here like almost looks like a particle that's like broken somewhat. Particle, like the shale or the quartz. The quartz is large grain. The shale, even on this scale, is just nothingness, but the pyrite is like in between. So it seems like the current of water that's flowing through here possibly in, possibly out. I'm not like through underneath. Behind this though, cutting behind the dendrite to like actually shape it, to then create like an eddy. an eddy around, like, in the plane of the dendrite. I can't really do it. Here, an eddy, though, around the dendrite, almost like forming a chakra out of it, but just so recessively that it's just like a dendrite formation in the ammonite structure. But this flow is going in and out and in and out, and it's eroding the boundary through here, so then it removes the shale. It removes the small particles. Its removal is one shale because it's small particles. But then 2 pyrite, generally speaking, and then 3 quartz. Largest, like from particle size. And just removes those things. While shaping it. And thus differentiating it as well. Oh shit, Dodgers won the World Series. I was checking it. 2 runs in the 8th. Is that another Freddie Freeman home run? No. Pardon me. I was kind of paying attention. Out of curiosity, really. Oh, damn it. That dude got crushed. 5 unearned runs. Oof. Came across this dwarf planet, Holmia. Apparently rotates so fast that it's oblong, like dwarf planet in the Kuiper Belt, beyond Pluto, I guess. Literally, but it's okay. I guess it's this one. I've seen this, although it looks kind of like Pluto. I don't know if there's any images of this. Any images I see, they make me think of Shaligrams. Like, it just looks like a stone. It doesn't look like a planet anymore, it just looks like a stone. Like, dude, that's a stone. It's not some planet. But apparently it formed this way because of its rotation speed being so high. Which I find really... I guess that's an image of it. Named after Haumea, the Hawaiian goddess of childbirth, on September 17th, 2008. Mass is about 1/3 that of Pluto. Rotation displays large fluctuations in brightness over a period of 3.9 hours, which can only be explained by a rotational period of this length. This is faster than any other known equilibrium body in the solar system, and indeed faster than any other known body larger than 100 kilometers in diameter. While most bodies, or rotating bodies, in equilibrium are flattened into oblate spheroids, Haumea rotates so quickly it is distorted into a triaxial ellipsoid. Triaxial ellipsoid. I guess like this third one. Yeah, triaxial bottom right, where the sides. It's so Shaligram and rock-like. Like, that's what this probably very similar to the dimensions, like relative dimensions of this shalogram right here. Maybe ignoring the opening to it, but just a common shalogram shape. But so I thought this one captured like the process of making a dendrite pretty nicely, because it's still highly matrix in appearance. Not very well differentiated. It just looks like the outer surface here. I mean, that's still ammonite in that instance because we can see the boundary here of the ammonite. So if we come up this way into this region, it's still ammonite. But it's shale. Like, it's not differentiated. It's very much like past. It's pretty much no difference to looking at like this surface, where this is matrix on the ammonite, not part of the ammonite. And then looking at this surface, which is ammonite, we can see the suture patterns, but that's on this side. Over here, the opposing half, we really can't tell this is ammonite, except for just by the structure of the stone, but where there's these. Oh my god, look at the swirl in that one. You can see the wave. Pfft. And then the Buddha. We got a Buddha. Let's see. Got a little Buddha. Oh my god. Every one of them can see. The flow. Where is that circle I saw? I'm like, did I lose it? I got zoomed in too much and it's not as obvious. You can really see interesting current paths here. Oh, here's the really cool chakras. This one's good because it has a boundary up top ammonite structure out here. There, less chakra is real visible. Going up into the stone. The boundary up there. Very similar, and yet different. Doing something of that nature. But where then there's a chakra to the other side in a weird anomalous way. Oops. Like trying to move the frickin' camera by moving that. Just like, do we see the same structure? Or anything in it reminiscent? It's interesting, it seems like the bottom side starts from a chakra, that the top side kind of like spawns. Like here. Essentially, my thought is current is flowing in these regions. Which, notice there's a boundary that goes like this. Like this. Boundary over here generally. So these are kind of forming like chakra here, but opposite to what would maybe be a chakra like over here, where instead it's like a low, like an anti-chakra at the top side here. But I'm just thinking maybe like this interaction could shift further apart so that the chakra on the top maybe even actually ends up being here. I think it erodes out this way. It basically forms from a starting point though, where it has like an anti-chakra and then forms a chakra. There's definitely some stuff going on like that and like this. Another one over there. Then goes back down there, goes around there kind of thing. It's looking kind of like it's possible that, like, chakra formation mechanisms are visible here. I don't know why she did that. Fuck. Oh, I got it. Got the trash. I guess I... Okay, dudes. I guess I'll be back some other time. I think I kind of said everything that came to mind on that Shaligram. I'm sure there's other things. There's another Shaligram as well that's a smaller. There's so many details though. Alright, dudes. Peace out. See you next time. Till then.